Hey guys, this is your Monday morning coffee break for November the 11th, 2018, Veterans Day. First of all, to all my friends who are military veterans, thank you. Thank you to the men and women of our veteran armed forces. Whether it's been a couple of days or 70 years, I thank you. My family thanks you. My church thanks you. And I pray that your days and nights are as peaceful as you have made ours. My name is Dave Dowdy, and every Monday I spend about 4 minutes sharing what our Sunday message was at Aberdeen First Baptist Church while my coffee's brewing. Yesterday, in our study of the Ten Commandments, we covered commandment number 8 about stealing. Well, this is an awkward topic for me because I would be lying if I tried to convince you that I've never stolen anything. I think stealing is one of the earliest sins I can remember committing. I was sitting on the floor of the old IGA grocery store reading comic books while my mom was shopping, and I saw a bag of BBs. And I think I was 4 or 5, and I wasn't allowed to play with the BB gun we had at home, but I thought if I had my own bag of BBs, then I didn't need my mom's permission to play with it. So I took it, got caught, got punished royally, and it made a real big impression on me. Everybody knows that stealing is wrong. All forms of stealing is wrong. Stealing is probably the crime most often committed, but is one that people feel the least guilt about. There are a lot of firsts in the Bible about stealing. Stealing is the first sin committed by the human race when Eve took the fruit in the garden. Stealing is the first recorded sin by Israel after entering the land of Canaan when Achan took the spoils of war. Stealing is the first sin to defile the early church when Ananias and Sapphira held back what they reported that they gave. We get the picture. Don't steal. That's the 8th commandment. God gave that for 2 good reasons. 1, to protect property, and 2, to preserve peace. But the most serious form of stealing is when we rob God. There are ways that we rob God that are a lot more serious than a bag of BBs. The Bible tells us that we rob God when we fail to pay our tithes and offerings. Yeah, you knew there'd be something about our giving or not giving to God. But that's serious. We need to continue to give to God in worship. Don't rob God. But there are also a couple of other ways we rob God that you probably haven't thought of as actually robbing God. A second way we rob God is by living a hypocritical or inconsistent life. This is when we say we live for God, then we do our own thing. The Bible says that we were bought at a price and that we're to honor God with our lives. Don't rob God by saying one thing and doing another. Another way we rob God is when we just flat out decide to serve ourselves. We thumb our noses at God and say we don't need Him anymore. But the Bible tells us we're to present ourselves to God as a living sacrifice, totally committed to Him, and not give in to the patterns of the evil that this world offers us. Okay, we got it. Don't rob God. The Bible is good at telling us what not to do. But wait a minute. The Bible is also very good at telling us what to do. Matthew 7:12, the Bible tells us about keeping the golden rule. Matthew 22:36, the Bible tells us about how to love our neighbor. 1 Corinthians 9:25, the Bible tells us about discipline and self-control. Hebrews 13:5, the Bible tells us about learning to be content. Colossians 3:2, the Bible tells us about seeking and focusing on heavenly things. The Bible tells us a lot about what to do instead of robbing God. But a favorite is what the Bible tells us to do when we rob God. 1 John 8:9 says, when we repent and ask for forgiveness, God does this. He forgives us. Maybe you need to hear that today. Maybe you've repented of any sin, but you need assurance that God forgives. Listen, God forgives you. You are forgiven. You can say, I am forgiven by God. I'm forgiven. Why don't you sip on that for the rest of the day and enjoy your coffee. I'll see you next week on Monday Coffee Break. Have a super one.